here's an example question to find out the moment of inertia, right? Find the moment of inertia of a T section. The symbol T. T section of a flange, F-L-A-N-G-E, flange, which is given as the value is 100 millimeter into 30 millimeter, and web. See, the words are normal words, but technically you should understand what is a flange means and what is the web means. Okay, flange 100 mm into 30 mm, and web 20 mm into 80 millimeter. About its centroidal axis. If you find the word centroidal axis means, which meaning is x bar and y bar. Whatever you studied in the beginning of the chapter is this centroidal axis. Why it is specified as centroidal axis means, the question may be asked to find out the moment of inertia either with respect to centroidal axis, which is x bar and y bar. Meaning is, suppose if I have a rectangle here, my centroidal axis will be this place somewhere, center of this x and y. Or you may be asked to find out the moment of inertia with respect to some other axis, in the sense somewhere an axis kept down, or an axis with respect to this x axis in the bottom, or with respect to an y axis in the left side corner. So the possibilities are, to find moment of inertia, if it is specified in the question, to find the moment of inertia with respect to its centroidal axis, means you need to know x bar and y bar values. And by chance, if centroidal axis is not required, the questions, they will specify the particular axis with which you need to find out. So please keep it in mind. Moment of inertia is a particular value you need to find out. With respect to what is a question, either with respect to centroidal axis, which means x bar and y bar values. If you are not required to find with respect to centroidal axis, they will give the value of x and y bars. This is very, very important point to understand while solving these questions. Okay, centroidal axis meaning is this. Now in this question it is given as such about centroidal axis, means x bar and y bar value will not be given in the question. You need to find out with respect to that only. So what is the first step then? Any diagram, go for area, find x1 value, y1 value, then go for one more scale. If you have two shapes joined together, a rectangle, triangle, or two rectangles, two triangles, whatever it is, then finally go for x1, a1 x1, a2 x2, etc. what we did in previous problems. After that completion, that is to find out x bar, y bar only, after finding this only, you go for next step of finding moment of inertia. This is first step. And here in this question, the diagram is not given. We have to draw the diagram. How do we draw? If you don't know what is a flange and what is the web, you will not draw your diagram. The flange is something, flange and web is an area where when you join two pipes, a very long length of pipe is there will not be an indefinite length of pipes. A specified length will be there. How do you join it? How do you join one pipe with the other pipe? With a flange, right? With a coupling or flange. A coupling is different from the flange. And here it is given, the shape actually is, flange and web will be like this. Okay? And will be like this. I am just drawing a rough sketch of a two-dimensional view. A circular in the top view, again a cylindrical shape in the side view. This will be your flange and this is your web. Can you understand? Hope I am just drawing a rough sketch. There will be a lot of the bolt and nuts to join this. This will be the shape, a rough sketch I am writing. But this, if you keep it, when you see the front view, it will look like a rectangle like this. The top portion, the front portion of this circle will look like a rectangle here, and bottom, the cylinder is actually a cylinder, a cylindrical one, a round shaped one, but in the front view it will look like a rectangle. This is your flange, this is your web. Is clear? So the value of 100 millimeter into 30 millimeter and the value of 20 millimeter and 80 millimeter is being specified for your flange and web only. Is it okay? So technically, if you are one or two things you have to know. It's given in the book, but still you should understand what is that. You have to remember. Then you will be writing what is this value. So this is your flange, this is web. Okay. So the sketches will make it bit bigger. I mean enlarged one, easy to understand, right? So it is, the shape will be like this. Your flange, and center of this will be normally web. This is the question. And again I told you, any diagram we draw, we need to write compulsorily the basic x and y values. 0 point you can take anywhere, and based on the diagrams, the shape of the diagram, you have to initially draw this x and y lines. This is my 0 point, this is my ox, 0 point, this is oy. This is compulsory for any type, any shape of the diagram given. If you don't write this, you'll confuse in a lot of steps. You'll miss it. Clearly write it. So this is a question. The question, the diagram is not given in the book, a question. So you will have to think and draw, right? Now, what is this 100 millimeter given for this flange? Obviously the, higher one. 100 mm is this value. 30 millimeter as is this width. Then 20 mm for the web. What is 20 here? This one is 20. Yes? What is 80 here? This portion remaining is 80. Is it okay? Now your diagram part is complete. Now your step starts. You have to find out. I repeat with the same old previous questions. The first and foremost step is you have to find out. It's given question as centroidal axis. Find moment of inertia with respect to centroidal axis. Means you should know what is x bar and y bar. If this word is not there, they will, the question will be indicated with the values of x bar and y bar. Or it should be shifted to some other axis. What is central axis here? Center of this body. This only center. And center of this body. This is alone. The particular center value or central axis should be find out. Is it not? That's the work. Fine. Now here, this CG is here. And this CG is somewhere. We don't know. Where is it? Somewhere here. Now first step is to find out x bar, then y bar. For this what you have to do? First you find area. Now this I am not repeating because the same procedure. Rectangle L into B. L is how much? 100. B is 30. Value. Then x1 value L by 2. 100 by 2. Y1 value 30 by 2. Again same rectangle. L into B area. Portion number 1. This portion number 2. The process is the same procedure. You have to you separately even draw also. First you draw this rectangle like this. Find out the value of x1, y1. Then this rectangle x2, y2. Go to the formula x bar, a1 x1, a2 x2, a1 plus a2. Y bar, a1 y1, a2 y2, a1 plus a2. Find out these values. That's your first step. Then come to the second step. What you have to do? After finding this, you are going for moment of inertia. See, I have kept this formula as it is because you are solving for a rectangle. There are many things for rectangle in this diagram it is. So now you are finding out your MI. Second step. Moment of the continuation is here. Moment of inertia. How do you find out? The formula is given Ixx and Iy value. It's clear. Now first thing is Ixx for portion number 1. Portion number 1 is this rectangle. Portion number 2 is this. What's the formula here? It will be I of CG. That is center of gravity to find out, plus A into h bar whole square, which we already told you with the base of parallel axis theorem. Now this ICG is nothing but this formula. IXX you are finding out, okay, for this body, particular one, moment of inertia with respect to CG, that is centroidal axis. For that value, this is the formula given directly. What is this one? BH cube by 12. What is B here? 100. This is B. What is H here for this rectangle? I mean this H. Always B is here. See, B is indicated here. Do not confuse. Do not think that the H should be an higher or a value will be more or breadth should be less. No. The rules is as per the formula, B should always be in this x-axis side, H should be this. Whether the sketch is big or small. Right? Now BH cube by 12, you substitute the values of this, find out the answer. Plus A. What is the area of rectangle again? L into B. Value. H bar square. To find out H bar is a question. Kindly understand, H bar means the distance of the center of the body, center of this body with respect to the reference axis. Where is the reference axis is here? Is here in the bottom. Is it not? For this particular body, I have to travel at a distance of where? This is a separate one, sketch. From this 0x, I should travel a distance of some distance value to touch the central axis. Is it not? This is 80 here. Somewhere the 15 out of 30, the center will be the 15 millimeter. This is 15. 15 millimeter is the center point of this body from the bottom if I travel. Right? Suppose if I travel from this side, from 0 to catch the center of this body, the center is here. Where I am touching? I am not adding anything because from directly I am going this value. 100 by 2 is 50. But the center line of this axis is lying on the same point. So from any axis if I travel, if I have a distance, see that's what I told in terms of parallel axis theorem. If I find a distance of center, if this distance prevails, available only, this will take it as h bar. Clear? Now when I travel from here, the center of this body itself will not become h bar. Not required. H bar is the one which is a distance of the other reference axis from the center axis of the particular body. Is it clear? So this h bar is what is the value now here? To write it here now, h bar. H bar is 80 from the bottom. I reach here. To reach the center, I should travel for another 15 millimeter. So 80 plus. This is 80. So I can indicate even like this. This line. I'll write it from here. What is this? 80 plus 15. This h bar. It is 95 millimeter. So this h bar is how much? 95. So A into this h bar becomes 95 millimeter. Right? So what should I write here? This BH cube is my answer I'll get from this formula. When substitute that B and H plus area is L into B into h bar. H bar is 95 whole square. These are your find the value. You will get some value for this IXX. When you go for y, see this A into h bar, when you find XX, from the x value you go traveling up. Is this clear? XX means from the x base you are traveling up to find out center of the body. When you go for y, you go from this left edge corner towards the right of the body. When you go for y, what will happen? Okay, XX for the second body. What is second body? Center only. The center point it becomes 0. So Ixx and Iyy, yy here it's ICG plus A into h bar again square. Then the ICG, the CG will be HBQ by 12. Here is BHQ by 12, YY HBQ by 12. So this Ixx is this much and Iyy. And one step to avoid confusion, to know what is the h bar, there's one more idea also. H bar is 95 mm from the base. In the sense, this 95 mm is a value from the reference axis to the center of this point. But actual h bar answer is not 95 mm. This is a value given as how much? This is 30. Center point of this will be 15 millimeter. Right? So this 15, we are going to find out first x bar and y bar values. So in other words, you can write, while finding Ixx value, right? You should find, while finding Ixx, you need h1. This was figure number 1, figure number 2. For h1 or h1 bar, I can say, you take a difference between x1. That is, x1 means for this first figure, what is the x value, center point, and y1, because this height y1, difference y bar is the value from this. Either you have to find out from this the reference line and find out the center of this body, and there you have to reduce this value. In the sense, a simple method is to find out this h bar, wherein the formula says, what is the formula? Find out Ixx is Ig1 plus A1 h bar square. Okay? So this is Ixx BHQ by 12. No problem. Or HPQ by 12. Area is L into B. This H1 bar is here. H1 I wrote because your question number 1. For H1 bar, you take the value of Y1. Y1 means, for finding Ixx, in that Ixx, while finding moment of inertia of the x direction, xx reference axis, to find H1 bar, should take the difference of the value of Y1 and Y bar. Y bar is constant value. After finding so many, you are finding area, etc., you will get Y1, Y bar. This Y bar will have some value. Suppose say here 40 millimeter is Y bar. Y1 is what? From the base, for this one, sketch number 1, you travel a distance of 80 plus 15. Y1 is 95. So this is not h bar. Y1 is 95 millimeter. From the base center of this figure, sketch number 1 or portion number 1, is at a distance of, from base 80 you are traveling, 80 plus 15 becomes 95. This is Y1 value for the sketch number 1. Right? This is Y1. If I write 95 here, and difference, it's not minus, it's difference. Y bar may be some value. Okay? Say for example, some x value. The answer comes some value. Say for example, this particular problem, it comes a value of 19.3 millimeter. 95 is Y1. Y bar I have not solved here. I am just telling the answer. The solvation you can do it. After finding Y bar, when you know Y1 is from this base, Y1 is center point of this portion 1 is 95 from the base bottom 0 from x axis, from OX axis. Okay, reference axis. That is the centroid CG of sketch 1 is at a distance of 80 plus 15, 95 millimeter from the bottom. That's it. That 95 difference of this, your Y bar value. Your Y bar value gives 19.3 millimeter. So this H1 bar value, okay, should be substituted here and multiplied. That means For example, how do you write for this one? The values will be, you are finding IXX1, IXX for sketch number 1. I mean portion number 1. This is 1. So what to write? IXX means, you are writing first IG, that is BH cube by 12 rectangle, plus area is L into B. Now let me write the values. The B is here 100 into BH cube. H is what? 30. This is H. 30 cube by 12 plus area is L into B. What is L again? Length into breadth. Okay, L into B for rectangle. So L is, we consider this is L always. L is 100. The breadth is 30. L into B. A into H bar square. Formula is H bar whole square. H bar is how much? 95. I told you the answer will be 19.3 millimeter. You have to find out what is Y bar value. 95 is Y1 and difference of that is 19.3 millimeter. So into 19.3 whole square. This will give you IXX1 value. Right. Now I'll just erase this. Continue with this here. Now IXX2. What is IXX2? Formula is again your IG, center of gravity for 2 plus area into H bar square again. H bar means H2. Again repeat for this sketch. Okay. Or IXX1 and IXX2 here. IXX1, okay, IXX2. Now this is the sketch. Second figure is this. Okay. From this axis, this somewhere here. What is the difference here? This value is 20. This height is how much? 80. That's it. So this IXX2 again formula. What is IY given here? This is IXX2. Oh, X I am doing for 2. Again BH cube. BH cube it is. I'll write BH cube by 12 plus. Okay, instead of writing the formula, I'll write the values. What is breadth here? Breadth is 20. Height is 80. Cube by 12 plus area is L into B. L is 20 into B is 80. H bar again, H2 again. H2 is what again? For this one, from the base, where is the centroidal axis? From base for this one, we have taken 80 plus 15, 90. That was your value of Y1 here. So I'll write a difference of here H2 bar is Y2 difference Y bar. Okay. So Y2 is what? For 2, from the base Y2 is this distance. What is Y2 here? Half of this. Half of this is how much? 80 by 2 is 40. 40 difference Y bar. Y bar is the value you will find it from your general equation. That is A1, Y1 plus A2, Y2, etc. That is your answer. So that value may be Y bar. That will give, say, suppose it is 40 millimeter or some 30 millimeter, whatever it is. So that value you should substitute here. Say it is 30. I am just taking an example of 30 millimeter is your answer. So this 30 square. The purpose is, this diagram has two portions 1 and 2, but the value of your H bar alone keeps changing because that is based on the reference point. Now this is for only IXX. So final IXX is what? IXX1 plus IXX2. This will give an answer of IXX only. If you go for IYY, using this equation, you have to find out H1, again H1, again H2, based on X values here. See, this is for IXX. While finding IXX, your h bar values are say you have suppose two portions like this or three portions like this. H1 bar values are y1 difference y bar. Suppose H2, two portions I'm writing, y2 difference y bar. Okay. While finding I y y is xx y, your again h1 bar value is, or h bar value is x1 difference x bar, right, and x2 difference x bar. This x bar is a constant value. X1 and x2 it differs depending on the sketch, because for here the center line will be placed on, for 100 this is 100, will be 50 here, x1 will be 50 suppose. X bar will also be in different value. If you get 0, if it is 50, or some other value, you will get that either reduction or higher reduction. Then the difference. You will not get a minus answer, because only the difference it is, not minus. Suppose this is 70 and this is 20, whatever it is, then the difference is. Now this is 20 and this is 50 also. 20 difference 50. It is again 30 only. It is not minus 30. That is the purpose. So your h bar or h bar to find out Ixx is using this formula. This is the idea. Why I wrote H1 and H2? Because two portions are there. If three portions are, I will go for H3. Here also H3. So y1 difference y bar, y2 difference y bar, y3 difference y bar. Y bar is constant. Y1, y2, y3 depends on individual sketch. Is clear? So like this you solve it, you get the answer. Finally you write an answer for your Ixx is Ixx1 plus Ixx2. Iyy means Iyy. And one more point to be noticed here. I just want to tell you about the symmetry process. Symmetry means, I hope I can interrupt this. Symmetry or symmetrical. The meaning is, this sketch, this shape is a mirror image or symmetrical if I fold it in x direction. Is it not? See, the center point is like this. If I put a center line here, if I break, suppose this is a T section, if I break it in with this, taking a cut in this point, this shape and this shape is both same. What I mean to say, I will draw a small sketch of this one. It comes like this, it goes like this. Okay, this is my half. One half is this till here. Opposite of us also same thing only. Is it not? So these two lines are joined together, so make this line. So I can cut, or I can say I can fold it. If I make a cut, I can keep one on the top. There is no difference. It's called symmetry or mirror image, I can say. But if I try to fold it or cut it in this axis, in the sense if I try to make it in the y bar direction, y axis direction, it will not be symmetry, because this portion is big and this is small. So if any sketch which is symmetrical sketch means there the we have to find out about which axis it is symmetry. Now here it is symmetry about x axis only. Okay, it is symmetry about only x axis, because from O point if you travel, this is the x direction, x difference is y. The x value is symmetry. So directly I can say the x bar value is equal to 50 mm. If you find the answer also, after finding A1, X1, A2, X2 divided by area of A1 plus A2, you will get an answer of 50 mm only, because this 100 by 2 center point, since it is symmetry, it gives a value of 50 mm. What I mean to say, this X1 value is 50, X bar value is only 50. By the sketch, if you see that, if it is symmetry about any axis, you can directly tell its X bar values half of that total value. Because it's half, the symmetry. Suppose it is symmetry about y axis, you can directly write the value of y bar there. So here your work is easy because x bar value is directly written as symmetry on by 2. It's total, since it's 100 by 2 is 50. Even if you solve it, you get the same answer. Okay. So after this step, finding x bar and y bar, right? Y bar you solve it by a1 x1, a1 y1, a2 y2 and find the answer. Then you go for your what is called as moment of inertia. Those formulas using that. Only difference is difficult, a different approach required is to find out h1 and h2. The h bar, to find out ixx, you go for a formula y1 difference y bar and y2 difference y bar, because 1 is here, 2 is here. If I have third sketch, I will write h3 is equal to y3 difference y bar. Common. Here x bar I told it's 50 mm because symmetry. So directly if you know the x1 value, what is this one here? X1 value is again 50, no. Center point of this, if you travel, is only 50. X1 is b by 2 as per the formula. So the rectangle is L by 2 or b by 2? L by 2, sorry, L by 2. It comes 50. My difference, again x bar is here 50 here. What is the difference now? It will become 0. And h2, what will become? x2. x2 is this. What is x2 here? Center of this is, from here it is, how much is this? This area is center. What total height? It will be center again 50 here. This is 30 plus this will be 50. So this 50 for its h2, difference in x bar is 50. It will become 0 again. So if the sketch is symmetry about some axis, you can directly write either it is x bar or y bar depending on what axis it is symmetry. You go for mass moment of moment of inertia using the formulas. And h1 and h2, kindly remember, h1 is y1 difference y bar. h2 is same thing, is y2 if it is. And if you find I, when finding I, y, h is find out by x1 difference x bar, x2 difference x bar. That's right. So next problem when I solve in terms of other subtopic, you'll better understand. This is the procedure. Only thing is you should know, and by reading the question you should be able to do a proper sketch without making mistakes.